Hi, Chandrasekhar here again, and now we are into the 11th of the lectures in series of lectures on yogas. We are talking about some important yoga and trying to find out the logic behind those yogas, why those should occur. So we have to be very clear that I am not only repeating the yogas that are given in the text. Of course, I am repeating them, but I am also trying to find out why should those yogas give good results. Because generally yogas are related to good results. There are dur yogas. We might talk about them later on when we get time. So in this 11th series, we get a yoga called Vasumāna yoga. Now this Vasumāna yoga has two variants. So we will first try to understand what have the sages said. So the way it is described is lagnādatīva Vasumāna saumyagrahairūpacayogatatḥ samastaiḥ dvābhyāṁ samo'lpavasumāṇaśca tadunatāyāmanyeṣu satsvapi phaleṣvidamutkaṭen. It's a complex thing, no? Because I have to divide those long words, because in Sanskrit you conjoin many words together. So that's why it might happen. But lagnādatīva means from lagna, the Ateeva Vasumāna yoga, and from moon, Ateeva Vasumāna yoga. There are two types of Vasumāna yoga. One is called the Ateeva Vasumāna, extreme. That means more powerful of the Vasumāna yogas. What is the Vasumāna yogas? There have to be benefics. Saumyagrahairūpacayopagataiḥ. Upachaya, you know, 3, 6, 10 and 11 houses are called as Upachaya houses. Upachaya means house of growth. Of these, certainly 3, 6 and 11 are also the 3 Shadayasthana, which are called the Dusthanas, the houses which are not very good, not auspicious. But we have to understand that they have also some strength there. They are houses of growth, period. So what growth, whatever they represent. That is. So in the third house they can also represent death, because the third bhava is there from earth. 6 can indicate diseases. It is called the Rogasthana. 11 being 6 from 6 can also call the secondary bhava, which can also indicate diseases, is true, and diseases once contracted grow, or health once damaged becomes more frail. At the same time, these bhavas also indicate valor, hard work, or job, and 11th is labha. And if you remember, primarily when we say Dusthana, it has more relevant or relation to the lords of those thanas. That is why in Vinshottari Dasha interpretation, or any Dasha interpretation for that matter, lords of the 3, 6, 11 are not supposed to be very good. The bhavas themselves are not bad. And here, in addition to these 3, there is 10th bhava, the karma bhava, the bhava of career, which is anyway considered good. It is also a Kendra bhava and the strongest among the Kendra, the squares. So, I am sure by now you understand when I say Kendra or square, it is one and the same, or Trikona and trine. It is only use of Sanskrit word which you will find more and more used in Vedic Astrology. So, what is this saying is, from the lagna, that is the ascendant, if benefics are placed in upachayas, the 4 houses, 3, 6, 10 and 11, then this samastaiḥ means all the benefics. So we will see why Ateeva and only Vasumāna, the two terms are used. Then this yoga operates, and Utkaṭena, the results are found with more strength. So what happens is, from ascendant, as you understand, if benefic is in the third house, he will be aspecting the ninth house of dharma. Though benefics in third are not supposed to be good as far as valor is concerned, I think in earlier lectures also I have talked about it. It is more because of their aspect of the ninth house, the house of righteous duties. As you say, in Kali Yuga, doing righteous duties sometimes can pull you back. So it is called katar. But for upholding the righteous duties, benefic in the third is good. The person's relations with his siblings will also be nice. So this has to be understood. So when we say malefics are good in the third or sixth and 11th, you have to understand in certain areas they are good, in certain areas they may not be as good. Then in the sixth house, what happens? This benefic aspect the 12th house of expenditure. So expenditure, even if it will be there, nobody is without expenditure. That is a fallacy that somebody may not spend at all. That doesn't happen. The benefic indicates that the aspect will be on the 12th bhava, which is bhava of expenditure. So whatever expenditure is done, it will be for good cause, because the benefic is aspecting it. Even the disease concern would not be as virulent, if I may say so, as when malefics are there. So though malefics are good in the sixth bhava, they also indicate some disease, the possibility of disease. So please remember this. If I am going away from the core subject, remind me, but I think this has to be understood. Then in 11th, you know that labhe sarva grahaha prashastaha, all planets are good in the labhasthan, the 11th bhava, they indicate income. Not only that, that benefic will aspect the 5th house of buddhi, the emotions, the intellect, the acquired knowledge. So this guy will have more acquired knowledge. In the 10th, if a benefic is placed, naturally work is one part of it, but his aspect of the 4th house indicates what? Happiness. His own house, his country, his vehicles, his whatever are the things which indicate happiness or safety for a person is indicated by the 4th house. A benefic is aspecting it. So this is not very difficult to understand. What are the results finally? The results are again, he will get good wealth. Naturally, whatever wealth is good, he is not going to fritter it away, and he will be working for some good cause. Will be having, landed property and vehicles and whatnot. So obviously, he has to be there. In colloquial language, they call it dhanadya, one who is very wealthy, and he stays in his home. Now, this in his home has to do with the 4th house. So that means he will generally be either he will stay in his own place of birth or his own country. Perhaps also his mother will be with him. Now, why is this suddenly thrown in instead of saying he will be happy? Because in ancient times, going to distant lands was not supposed to be a good thing. It was one of the punishments which was given to those who committed crime against the king. It is not only here in India. You go to ancient history, you will find even in Britain or Germany, the kings used to, when they could not, for reason ABCD, execute an opponent, he would be asked to leave the country and go to some other country. So going away in ancient time was not supposed to be good. Today it is good because you earn more. The social norms have changed, but still one who goes in a different country will always remember his own and would always think about, see, with this wealth, had I been in my country, how happy I would have been, and all those things. So these are the basic results of this Vasumāna. Now, why Ateeva Vasumāna from Lagna, but not so much from Moon? The reason is there are only 4 benefics, isn't it? If the first line says that samasta, all the benefits should be in all the upachaya. There are only 4 upachayas, isn't it? And 4 benefics. Jupiter and of course Venus are full-time benefics, you know that. Then there is Mercury. And there is the great moon. These are the primary benefics. I mean, we can extend it, but these are the benefics which are always supposed to be benefics. Now, from you look at it and you will understand that for all the 4 houses to be occupied by benefics, Jupiter or Moon will be placed in either the 3rd house or the 6th house, and Venus and Mercury would be in the 10th and 11th, because they are not very far away from each other. So they cannot be Venus cannot be the 6th and Mercury goes to 3rd or the 11th is impossible. So they have to be. That is why the 2 which are adjacent, the 10th and 11th, is the place for those planets. Obviously, it would be better if Sun is not there. Sun might be in the 12th house in that case. But then he would get a benefic of a good planet, a benefic planet from the aspect of benefic planet, on the Sun. So here, the strength of the yoga will be very powerful. He also says, dvābhyāṁ, if only 2 benefics are there in these 4 houses, then the results will be on a much lesser scale. And why do we think that the yoga caused by moon, position of planets from moon, is only called Vasumāna yoga? For the simple reason that moon himself is a benefic. So from him 4 benefics cannot occupy the 4 upachayas. This is absolutely certain, whatever happens. And that is why the intensity would be less. And that is how this yoga manifests. This is the reason of the yoga manifesting. From moon only 3 planets can be there. And in that case, unless Venus and of course our great friend Mercury can be in 10th and 11th from the moon, Jupiter will be placed in the 3rd or 6th, is fine. But since Sun is always near Mercury and Venus, and these being behind the great our friend moon will be devoid of pakshabala. He will not have the what we call the strength of the fortnight. Isn't it? We know that moon has to be from 8th tithi of the bright fortnight to the 8th tithi of the dark fortnight. He would not perhaps be there. Rather, he would not be there. Because he will be in the, no doubt about it, it will be Shukla Paksha, but then it will be at the most the 6th. Why? Even the 4th day of the maximum, 4th tithi of the bright fortnight. So he will himself be weak. So this is how this operates. Obviously, in this case, lagnāda of Jupiter or Venus or Mercury would not be there. So you have to understand that the probability is becoming lesser and lesser and lesser, and that is why the yoga is of very important. That dvābhyāṁ is many times missed. That if they are 2, then the effect is not as much. So which implies That is, the result is the greatest when four benefics are at four places. Less so if moon is there, because one thing is three benefics can only occupy Upachaya's one, and moon himself will be bereft of strength. It is interesting that in case of lagnas owned by Jupiter, Mercury, or Venus, the lagna lord itself would be gaining strength because he would be occupying the house of Upachaya, the house of growth, and he gets strength like that. So, in those lagnas also, even I mean, if they are in the Rashi of moon itself, then there can be some sort of strength coming out. But in their lagna, the strength would be much more. And this is how we have to understand the degrees of strength of a yoga. And as I said, where the yoga occurs, there something will be there. But here, the yoga occurs at only particular, I mean, in particular bhavas only. Unlike the Chandra Mangal yoga we saw earlier in the last lecture, that can occur anywhere. These have very specific places. They influence only specific bhavas, and that is why the lagna based yoga, which is Ateeva Vasumāna yoga, that is extreme Vasumāna yoga, is more powerful, followed by the one which is caused by moon. That is where the placement is Upachaya places from moon instead of the lagna. The strength will be less if only two planets are there, two benefics occupy. It would still be there, but it would be on a lower scale. Obviously, if three planets are there, it will be slightly higher, and if all the four Upachayas are occupied by benefics, the strength of the yoga would be the greatest. And so, my friends, I think I shall come to the end of this 11th lecture in the series of lecture of yogas, and we will try to look at other yogas also as we go ahead. I try to pick up a certain well-known yogas, and we will try to find out why certain results are given in those yogas. By the way, before I forget, benefics in third generally doesn't give that cutting edge to a person to succeed greatly, but he will be happy because he doesn't want to hurt others to succeed, and that generally comes from the being content. If one is hungry, one is going to go and do some work. So, my dear friends, I take your leave and a very good night.